Hello and welcome to Equator Brain Squeeze. And this is the second podcast in the readings from The Wisdom of Life, a book by Josephine Mitsud. And today we're going to go deep into our transformation, our beings, our souls, and allow ourselves to really immerse ourselves in the way the world is evolving and changing. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this podcast. And if you learn how to respect your own rights, you have the ability to respect others' rights too. Sometimes we are angry, but we can't help that. Sometimes we are eager to hide our best passions more than our worst ones. If everyone keeps his dignity, there will be more mutual understanding between us. We must respect other people's confidence. If we put our principles into practice, we give a fresh start to our character. Hatred is a strong passion. Sometimes you feel it on your own grand scale, and sometimes on a small scale, but it always hurts. When we keep our self-esteem, we avoid a situation of being victims. We must cultivate our love and water it with sweet water. Sometimes when we feel a burden too heavy on our shoulders, we must put some powerful seeds in our hearts. Magically we find ourselves flying like a bird amongst the trees of hope and courage. And tomorrow is another new day. I wait for the morning, which will bring me the new world that I can imagine. Every new day has its problems and its opportunities. We believe in predictions with open ears, and sometimes the answer is in the negative. Life is a very difficult and complicated examination. We have to work hard to get a good grade. When we feel emptiness in our heart, we look at the sky and appreciate the diamonds and brilliance that are hanging for us, to hold and fill our hearts with precious stones. These are the riches of heaven. Everyone in this world is the center of love. For the sake of peace, many times we have to go against our reality. The means of communications increased our optimism. Our belief and wisdom kill the cruel doubts which torment our mind. And when the rain falls down, it blesses the earth. Man studies, but our Lord gives him wisdom. When we are ruled by our imagination, our body weakens. Charity and kindness are two lovable sisters. There is nothing better than a sweet tongue that utters sweets the words. There is nothing worse than a bitter tongue that utters words that hurt. In our long walk in life, many times we encounter disappointments and failures. We have a way to free ourselves from guilt and start the blaming process which hides our mistakes. Bad deeds are powerful, and good deeds are weak. The difficulties in life makes our life worthless. But with our own wishes and our own goodwill, we have a fresh start and the sun will shine again. A category of our younger generation sometimes injects our mind with new and useful thoughts. When we face disagreement, it is very hard to live in harmony. When we fall to show our gratitudes, it is a great sin against the person waiting to hear it. Life is beautiful. Life is an adventure. We must enrich it with the freedom of love. Behind the scenes of ourselves, there are hidden the mysteries of our abilities. They are discovered when the light of our stage is on. Our society is poor in values and in solitary. It needs a new building. It is our duty to sow the seed for the climate of tolerance, as intolerance brings violence. Many times in our life we find the door of our heart closing and our mind falls into despair. We have to find a skilled worker to open it again. A baby needs a good bed of concrete for the foundation of his character. From an early stage, we must correct our children's mistakes at the right moment. Excessive discipline makes us slaves of ourselves. Many times in our lifetime, we had to cross a rough sea. We have to turn to our courage to find help that sweeps away the darkness of our mind. When other people discourage us, we have to be brave and meet the challenges of life. Sometimes we know we are wrong, but we do not correct ourselves and we do not accept criticism. If we stand by our good principles, we cool our mind and escape violence. And when we do not agree with other people's principles, we blame them for having a small mind and of living in a small world. We are too quick to condemn with our own judgment. A good teacher understands. An intelligent teacher is persuasive. A sweet heart is like honey. It gives sweetness to those in need. If we have strong hands, we fill them with honesty and help. If we have a right sight, we see the best in everybody. If our mind is a stone, we put in our ability and goodwill. Our contribution towards society is by bringing up our children to be good and honest citizens. We must not influence ourselves by bad things only. We have to be positive and appreciate the good things. It is of utmost importance to educate our emotions. It is never too late to start doing something for our troubled world. It's very useful to have a loving corner in our heart for everything and everyone. If we try to live without a direction, we are mistaken and will be carried away by the waves. Kind words always find a heart to heal. Children cannot make a pattern of their priorities. In our modern world, time is more precious and more expensive. We must explore and water our relationship with God. Our manners are living evidence of our values. Education is the soul of the family. And when we are not aware of our ignorance, we are like a leaking ship in the middle of the ocean. We have to look beyond ourselves and consider the misery, the poverty, the loneliness which are weakening our world. Many times we have watched a bad thunderstorm and we were never terrified unless we were struck by one. You have to forget the past, do not look forward to the future. We have to live the reality of the present. I like to pick the fruit from the tree of forgiveness and the tree of peace. I find them all year round. In our modern world, everyone acquires what he really likes. I call these things treasures without value. Charity and kindness put us on the doorstep of our salvation. Love is like a cough. You cannot keep it. Some people do not believe in planning because freedom is very dear to them. When you make your mind work, you make wonders. You live better and find solutions to the problems which were blocked with a block of granite. When we do not keep up promises, we have a weakness in our minds. If we have thoughts and consideration for others, our attitude will be respected. When we are organised and do our work well, our life is fulfilled and it becomes a part of our culture. We cannot remember the days when we were cradled and comforted by our mothers, but we must dream of this time during their old age. The upbringing of children is like a boomerang. It goes around and comes back. A simple life mostly cares about everyday living. New sentiments are very strong. When you lose your self-confidence, you lose confidence in others and put yourself in danger of even losing your faith. Every new day is a precious living present given to us by our Lord. Patience and silence are a golden ring with precious stones in our life. During our childhood, we never thought of hiding our future. We always dreamt of a beautiful and colourful future. We never thought about the storage of our destiny. If we put the dress of poverty in our heart, we give a new facelift to our modern world. When we deprive ourselves of other things and give them to those who need, we have more satisfaction and our heart will dance a beautiful waltz of happiness. When we give genuine love and we do not expect any in return, our love will be respected. It is the best decision we can make to love others as ourselves. Decency and common sense are two respectable attitudes. Blindness in our mind is worse than blindness in our eyes. This total darkness is a real hindrance to our life. Our life is a series of different stories. Each one gives a different explanation. Our life is a race without dimension. The moon is like our life, sometimes full, sometimes empty, sometimes hidden. But when it is full, it lightens our world around us and gives us new hopes. Sometimes we feed the need of giving ourselves a spring cleaning. We throw away our bad habits and replace them by good and new ones. Perhaps this gives us immortal beauty to our personality. In my imagination, death is a dark prison. When we are left without those we really love. Our values are a guaranteed success in our life. Very often we do not respect and appreciate the humble work of other people. We do not realize that our life is a chain and every chain needs another. When our life is hampered with serious problems, our mind is covered with thick darkness. We have to be careful not to worsen the situation. We must put a gleam to our thoughts. We must find a bright corner in our heart and put our goodwill in it all year round. Many great famous people were considered as fools in their time. But in our time, we are enjoying the shade of the trees they have planted for us. Wrong deeds make us realize how fruitful good deeds are. There were times when fanaticism brought tragedies on our cultural and historical places. Our world is beautiful, but creation of man is more beautiful. He was furnished with the beauty of wisdom. When we are gifted with talents, use them. Do not keep them hidden. Whatever happens in your life, there is always a new start. All problems are different and many times impossible to solve. A packet of kind words is the only therapy. What you really love remains forever. It never burns up in smoke. Our faith must be stronger than our fears. Our presence in a visit to a lonely heart is a gift in itself. At times when we reach a climax, we tend to fall into an unhappy mood. Sometimes we feel the need of giving a space. To change our attitudes, we give birth to kindness, justice and peace. With these three columns, we make our heart a golden garden of roses. When you deprive the worker from his work, you kill his own existence. New questions bring new answers. Our life is a work of art. Painters put in all that they can on a canvas, and it is full of illusions. Christmas is love. Baby Jesus is love. But our world is a valley of hatred and injustice. We must try to make a new addition and correct the proofs. When we realize that other people are in need, we forget our selfishness and share our life with these. Hope and happiness are two intimate friends. They change our lives from darkness to a magical light. There is a challenge for every style of life. Sometimes we have to spring clean our principles. Every kind thought is a melody. I associate love with a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers. Good manners are a golden blessing. The best adornments are in us are a good heart and a tongue that spreads peace. Humanity must strengthen the culture of peace, condemn violence, and end it forever. Life is difficult. We should try to weave a new pattern, make a magic carpet, and decorate it with love and hope. There is a time when we dream that our heart is a manger filled with soft straw, but at the end of our dream we find a stream of beautiful roses on our tongue. Some people join the birds in singing in spite of the weight of their misfortune. In the light of our faith, our problems are no longer a monster in our heart, but a tree of hope watered with blossom water. Friendship is the perfect gift from our Lord. It makes miracles in our heart. Generosity is the dearest and the most precious attitude. It gives us a satisfaction in our heart and peace in our mind. The trust and love of friends are the most important riches in our life. It is an unfavourable condition for people living in a small country. They tread on each other's feet. Man was born in a garden and he is part of nature. The media always scrutinises a public person. I consider every month of our life as a comma and every year as a full stop. We must take care of our dear things in our life. They might be stolen or taken away from us forever. We were born to live. We must not make a hotel from our heart with people coming and going. We must live in stability. Every new day is a gift from our Lord. When the rough sea of discrimination gets calm, everyone is happy to put his feet in the same shoes and build a new future. Music is profound. It gives splendour to our heart and enchantment to the mind. Forgiveness gives me a magical delight to get a fresh start. Many times when we start our old age, our heart is covered with sadness. We do not realise that we are changing into works of art. I prefer straight honesty to false humility. Sometimes rich and intelligent people fascinate us, but if these ever experience poverty, they might in some way make it possible for the rich man to have a kind and good heart. A kind heart tries to compare with a cruel destiny. If we learn how to have a great heart, we do not think about the price of the things we give to others. Many wise and famous people tried to understand the mystery of life, but they were only failures. Love comforts you. Hatred weakens you. For many people, life is a calvary. They have many difficult realities which makes life very hard. Our life is not a ship battered in a harbour forever. It is a mistake to leave our problems to teach us extreme situations. We must start sailing in the right direction. When we realise that we are in the wrong way, we feel guilty and hide ourselves under an umbrella because we feel the shame. This is the right moment to correct ourselves. When we do good deeds to others, we give power to our strength. Our Supreme Being does what He thinks and what He likes, always for our own benefit. human love must be unconditional. Forgiveness. Our life is a cycle. Our life is a process. Our life is a journey. Very often we cannot control our mind. It is very hard to get rid of our unkind thoughts. Sometimes we lose the hope of getting back our dear paradise. Only our strong will helps us to regain it again. When we possess addiction, we must try to get out of this kind of slavery with strong and good will, which is very important. Love is the measure of all things. Love is the measure of all things. And you've been listening to Equator Brain Squeeze, and this is Joe-y Busuttil. This is the second podcast in the series of Wisdom of Life by Josephine Mitsud. Until next time, please have a great week and good night.